It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
We're back. Oh, yeah, I forgot. We went to me doing the music. Oh, see, I knew I'd mess it up. Well, we're going to get straight into it. This is what's going to happen. Let me tell you what's going on the show. We have in the top of the second hour, Adam Kokesh, Marine, Iraq Veterans Against the War, and so on. He stopped by my home last night, and some of the guys, they carpooled going to California to the Freedom Law Conference Summit thing that they got over there this weekend. On their way there, crossing the Arizona border into California last night, checkpoint. Everybody out. Searched their car. Oh, my goodness. There's 2 guns in here, of course, I don't know how many guys had the guns, but, this is just commonplace here. Well, they were detained for over an hour. I was getting text messages. Here's my sister's number for one guy. This, here we are. Well, they let him go, and they went. Adam will be on at the top of the second hour to give us a little bit on that. Jeanne Manwiller, one of the activists here, went to CPAC. She's going to come in and last half hour of the second hour and tell us how that really went and what was and was not reported. Then we have Monday, Jim Traficant is in Phoenix. He's going to be in studio for 2 hours. We're going to get what for and the whole history of Jim Traficant, ex-congressman, and he's got a story. We don't want for that. We just talked to Ray McGovern. He's going to be on Tuesday. Now, let me tell you, this goes along with Helen Benedict's book and so on. When you have the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, up there giving a speech about how all these regimes need to be good and, rights of and be nice to the peoples and all this, whatever, Ray stands up and he just says, had a peace shirt on, didn't say anything, boom, tackled, beaten, bleeding, jail. Well, he's a busy boy. That guy is doing interviews like crazy. Now, he had just written an article for Freedom's Phoenix here, like the morning before he got arrested. And it's just, it's all a common theme. Now, Helen, I want to talk about these women that are coming up, and they're going, we're not getting any justice anywhere else, so we're going to go to the civilian court system. Are they out of the military? Did they have to wait until they got out before they could do this class action? Tell me about the lawsuit.
Yes. You can't, when you sign the form to enlist into the military, you sign away all your civil rights, including the right to sue the military. But once you're separated, once you're a veteran, then you become a regular citizen and you get your rights back. But this is being done as a class action suit because that was a way around some of the laws against being able to sue the military.
Okay, so now they're suing, claiming what?
They're claiming that the military has consistently ignored and buried their attempts to report rapes and find justice. The military is too lax in investigating and prosecuting the crimes, and that it fosters a culture where victims are afraid to report the crime.
So they're saying we charge you with. I'm wondering, as a class action, how is it that they're the remedy is going to be what? They want money. So it's going to be money.
It's going to be money, and but of course the real point. This is because they have to do it this way legally. It's not that everybody wants the money. It's a way of bringing attention, public attention, and kind of cornering the Pentagon and making them, in the glare of all this attention that's happening right now, forcing them to really do something about it. Ever since 2005, there's been, or even earlier, there's been, Congress has been pressuring them. I've testified to Congress twice about it. Many of the colleagues and veterans who are active on this subject have been filing reports and studies. It's not as if we haven't been banging on this door for a long time already, but this is the first time in history that there's been a class action suit against the Pentagon like this. So it's really forcing them up against the wall.
Well, have they already, how long ago was it filed? When was it filed?
Oh, just a few days ago. It's brand new.
And what do you anticipate is going to be their response? They're going to dismiss because we're the Pentagon? What's going to be their response?
Well, they're going to say what they always say, which is this isn't a military problem, it's a culture problem. I mean, we're no worse than the rest of you out there in civilian land. And then they'll say, but we are trying, and we've got a new set of rules about how to report, and I saw that they've already said they've set up a hotline. I mean, it isn't as if they haven't been having some response to this all along. It's just that it's window dressing. It isn't changing the culture, and it isn't changing, the number of rapes that are happening, and it isn't changing the lack of legal repercussions, the lack of punishment.
I want to ask you this, and you interviewed, it says, 40 women?
40 women who fought in Iraq.
Now, this is of that theme. I'm sure it was focused in their individual circumstances and so on. I probably talked a lot about the other thing. But when you talk to 40 women, you got to kind of get a theme or an understanding that they all had about this whole thing in Iraq. And I'm wondering, as I talk to a lot of the people, because I have not talked to women soldiers regularly, it's always young men, and the disillusionment that they get is probably totally different, because they are the ones on top of the heap. They're the ones with the guns. They're the ones going out in the squad. They're the ones in charge of the people, and they kick in their door, and they got the family huddled in the living room, and and the men with black bags on their heads. I would imagine it wasn't often that it would be women in those roles. But
all the women carry guns. And many of the women I talked to, actually almost all the women I talked to, were in combat, and many of them, they were gunners on top of Humvees and gun trucks. They were guards manning M60s. They were raiding houses just like that, because the war was so understaffed in the first few years that women were being forced into combat roles because there was just a shortage of personnel.
I mean, they were actually going into Iraqi homes and kicking in doors and stuff?
They were doing all the same job. I talked to many women who were doing all the same jobs as the infantry. See, they get sent out under this thing called combat support. So you go out in a convoy in a truck, your National Guard engineering company or something. You're in a truck and you're along in the convoy with the infantry to fix roads and set up checkpoints. And then you're in a firefight. What are you going to do? Not fight because it says on your badge that you're not infantry? Of course not. Everybody gets drawn into the fight. I mean, it's basically a guerrilla war. So women are fighting and being wounded and dying in combat at higher rates in Iraq than all American wars put together since World War II.
The reason I went on this line, I guess I'm not going to be able to do it the way I wanted. The reason I wanted to bring this up is that you'll have I guess there's not a lot of difference between the rules in perspective from men and women, but I'm thinking that the men being all amped up, it's testosterone. I mean, if you've had teenage boys, then you just know what I mean. I mean, testosterone's testosterone. There's no getting around it. And when you got these guys just amped up and you have them there, they become disillusioned in their mission. For a lot
I know what you're getting at. I found, and it wasn't just in my 40, all my statistics.
I'm sure we're going to get into interesting stuff here, but we're not going to get it in 20 seconds. So go ahead and hold your thought where you are right there, and we'll pick it up. And the audience has got to stay to hear what Helen's going to have to say about this when we come back here on Declare Your Independence in just a little bit.